Alright, so the 1 through 10 homework, I'm hoping this was fairly quick and fairly easy. It was just talking about null and alternative hypotheses. Simon reads a newsletter report claiming that 12% of adults. Actually, now that I think about it, this is a pretty easy one, right? Is it easier for me to post an answer key than talk through every single one of them? Like, isn't it one that you can just like look at and see? Are there specific ones you have questions about? One of them was one of these talking about. Did one of them do something weird like minimum temperature? Or am I thinking about something different?
There was standard deviation.
Standard deviation was one of them. Okay, which one was standard deviation?
Number 5.
So number 5, during the cold winter months, temperature in Colorado cabin owned by the Sarnes family can stay well below freezing for weeks at a time. To prevent the package from freezing, they set the thermostat at 50 degrees. So the manufacturer claims that the thermostat allows variation in the home temperature by 3 degrees. And they suspect that the manufacturer is overstating how well the thermostat works. So I like this problem because it's a good like context problem that kind of makes sense. When it says, like if I'm thinking not math-wise, just thinking like I understand what the terms are. When I say that he sets the thermostat 50 degrees and it allows for a variation in the home temperature of a standard deviation of 3, that means on average we expect it to vary between what and what? Like 47 and 53, so like we don't want it to get too low so that it gets below freezing. But he says that the manufacturer is overstating how well it works. So if they're overstating how well it works, does he think that it actually varies more than that or less than that? This is one of those really weird double negative kind of things. So if they are overstating how well it works, then they think it's that small, but it's really not that small. So they're overstating because he thinks it actually fluctuates more. So this one, your null hypothesis would be sigma equals 3. Your alternative would be sigma is greater than 3 degrees Fahrenheit. That's kind of like one of those weird double negative words. And there's another one that's like weird wording like that, I think. Which one did you say you started? People with less than 12 grams. Like, I mean, I see why you have to start beside that one. The claim is still that it says people with less than 12 grams are anemic. So the claim is that, but you're still doing it versus equals. Because I'm guessing where you're having an issue. So you're still finding evidence in the direction that you think it's going to be. So then you're still doing it in the direction of less than.
So is the null hypothesis used equal to 12 or is it greater than or equal to?
Equal to 12.
Equal to 12?
Yeah. Okay. I want to explain this. Let's say I'm going to do this one as mu equals 12 as a null hypothesis versus an alternative of mu is less than 12, right? And this is a big point I'm trying to make right now. This is not really dealing with the problem itself. So let's say my line for 12 is here. When I'm trying to find evidence of this, I'm trying to find evidence that it's here, right? Well, if you actually think about the fact that like we're doing complement of things, like everything adds up to equal 1, here it's either it is the shaded or it's not the shaded, right? But we're thinking about this one as it is the line or it is shaded. Do you see how that's a little bit different? So technically the question you were asking is kind of like the unspoken, we don't talk about it. What's the opposite of less than 12? Greater than or equal to 12? So we write the null hypothesis as equal to 12, but really the opposite of the alternative is greater than or equal to. So some books actually write this as greater than or equal to because that's the opposite of what we're trying to find. And only in weird certain statistics classes will they even address those. That's not the way we want you to talk about it. We want to do it as it either is the claim or it is the direction we're finding evidence of. But technically, the complement of that is greater than or equal to 12. So the question you're asking is technically the answer, but we just don't write it that way. Does that bring up more questions? I thought there was another one that was kind of like a weird wording thing, like the overstate. I can't remember which one it was.
There's another standard deviation for 6.
And again, if they think they're underestimating the variation, that might be the one I was thinking about. If they're underestimating the variation, then we think that it's actually what? Greater than. So that one would be your null hypothesis sigma equals 10. Your alternative hypothesis sigma is greater than 10. I should be saying meters every time. Null hypothesis sigma equals 10 meters. Alternative hypothesis sigma is greater than 10 meters. Other than, so what was the issue with number 9? What was the issue with number 9? Had an X bar and that's not a parameter. What was the issue with number 10? 2 issues. The symbols, the equal should be with the null and the less than should be with alternative, and then the numbers, they were different. What was wrong with number 7? Just the what was it? Oh, the symbols. I was thinking of letters. Null hypothesis should be equals. Alternative should be greater than. And then what was wrong with number 8? The use p hat, which is not a parameter. It should have been p instead. And then the other ones, 1 through 6, I'll write those out completely so that you can double check yours without just reading through all of them.